I'd seen a jumbo acoustic guitar, a Mock Martin, hanging in the window, and struck an installment deal. Once half the money was paid, I got to take the guitar home. They threw in a spare set of strings and a plastic cover as part of the sale, and I proudly carried the guitar back over the Thames, wondering if anyone passing by mistook me for a musician. The district was actually teeming with music, but I was too young to witness any of it. In the early 60s, the Station Hotel, less than 5 minutes' walk from Potter's Music, had housed the Crawdaddy Club, where the Rolling Stones had made their first splash. As the River Thames bent around and out of sight from Richmond Hill, there was Eel Pie Island and a hotel where people had once drunk bottled beer and danced to what Charles Dickens described in Nicholas Nickleby as a locomotive band. Sadly, no recorded evidence of this music survives. More recently, The Who and the Downliners sect had replaced the traditional jazz bands of the 50s. But even they had moved on to bigger things and left the place to anarchists and members of a hippie commune. For a while, the Yardbirds, or perhaps just their road manager, had lived on the street next to us. In the mornings, a dirty white van would be discovered parked unevenly and covered with messages written with lipstick or in the dust of its grimy paintwork. I love Jeff, as in Beck, was scrawled right next to I love Keith, as in Ralph. Having said this, the Yardbirds weren't the only group living around there in the early 60s. They had competition from the Meteors. If you haven't heard of them, it's because they mostly existed in the imagination of me and my best friend, Joel Peterson. Joel and I were approximately 7 years old when his family moved into the downstairs maisonette located diagonally from our unit. He too was an only child. We became fast friends. Okay, so interesting. Another Napoleonic detail is that Napoleon said that great men are like meteors, destined to burn, to illuminate the earth. It's a great one. Anyway, meteors, great men are meteors. The meteors. Isn't that interesting? How does that work? Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.